Shane Addison, Information Security Officer and Financial Services, work for a bank. We started, we were using a different SIEM product before. It's probably not really fair to call it a SIEM. It just really wasn't quite robust. It was more of a log just collection tool, and that system worked fine. We could create some basic events from single log. You see this log, fire an alarm off of it or something like that. Not really correlation per se. And we had issues with scalability with it. We could stand it up for about a month, and then after about a month, as the database started getting full, then like trying to do searches and things like that, just it was too slow. So you'd kind of have to clear out the database, start again, and again it would work for about a month. Yes, I did. Unfortunately, I don't recall exactly which other ones we'd looked at, but we had a number of different demos with other vendors, and obviously chose LogRhythm. The scalability, as I mentioned, we had a huge problem with that before. So we can quickly search through all of our logs for if we have an issue that perhaps there's something suspicious from a particular host. We can quickly go through there and search all the logs for anything that that had to do with that host for a specific time frame, and anything coming to or from that host, or if it's a user or whatever it is. So investigations, it's really been helpful for. Also with not just for security, but for an operational standpoint as well. We'd had issues where perhaps a end user would call with a particular problem. Service wouldn't, like you can't print in this or whatever it was. And we were able to, during the investigation of that, we could find, perhaps there was a log message that was generated, an error from that application. And so then we could create a rule quickly and say, okay, anytime that, you see that log, generate an alert, and then it enabled our IT staff to be a lot more proactive to fix problems instead of having to wait for the end user to call and saying something's not working. We have about 550 users and 150 servers or so, and I think we're feeding in approximately currently about 800 logs per second on average into LogRhythm. And like I said, I haven't had any problems with scalability. I mean, it chews through the logs, and our searches, everything they're pretty quick. I mean, they're very responsive. I mean, fortunately, we haven't had to deal with them a lot, but when we have, we've had really good luck with them. I mean, they've always been very knowledgeable, quick to solve our problems, very responsive. We'll follow up, if there's if there is a delay in perhaps they're still researching the solution or what have you. They're always quick to kind of reply back and say, hey, I haven't forgot about you. It's still with the developers or what have you. But fortunately, we really haven't had many issues with the product. Well, I think and it's not necessarily bad against LogRhythm, but I think an area that always can improve is the parsing rules. Just the more information that we can get out of the logs, as far as specific metadata in the logs, whether it's an IP address or something like that. So sometimes the LogRhythm will parse the rule, or perhaps it won't get every little detail out of the rule. And so any advancement in those, it can be very helpful to be able to again correlate those logs against other items, especially for items that are a little less. Mainstream may not be the, not necessarily top tier, vendor. Perhaps instead of Cisco, it's a different firewall vendor or what have you. Those sorts of things that sometimes we run into an issue where the log parsing is suboptimal. It'd be a little bit better. Could be some improvements there. I'd say about a 9. I mean, we're really happy with the product. Like I said, we've been a customer for a number of years now, and it's really haven't had any issues, and it's done just about everything we ask it to do.